When a girl is attracted to you, she will always try to psychology tricks. Gentlemen, if you've ever wondered whether her signals mean real attraction, remember this. What you do speaks so loudly that I cannot hear what you say. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Women reveal interest through behavior, small, consistent moves that pull you into their orbit. Today we'll decode the psychology-backed tells a woman will reliably try when she's drawn to you the way she seeks. Proximity keeps the conversation going, remembers the details you barely recall, and creates little openings for you to step closer. This isn't about memorizing lines, it's about reading actions and answering them with calm, grounded presence. By the end, you'll know how to spot genuine interest without overthinking and how to respond in a way that builds respect, ease, and connection. And stay with me to the end. I'll share a quiet veteran move that amplifies attraction without games. A bonus tip you can use the next time those subtle signs start showing up. 1. Seeking your validation in group settings. Don't underestimate this subtle but powerful sign. Gentlemen, when a girl is attracted to you, she won't just smile politely and fade into the background. She will angle the spotlight toward you. Notice it in a group conversation. She asks your opinion first, not anyone else's. That's not coincidence. That's strategy in female psychology. Validation is currency, and she's investing it in you. She is quietly signaling that your approval matters more than the crowd's applause. That is, attraction dressed up as curiosity. Don't be blind to it. Be aware of the little shifts she leans in when you speak. Even when others are louder, she looks at you first when she delivers her punchline, as if meeting your reaction to make it land. She might even challenge you playfully, not to defy you, but to invite your attention. That is one of the oldest psychology tricks women use. Mask desire behind humor or casual remarks, while the true message is, do you see me? Do you approve of me? You must learn to read between the lines, because attraction rarely announces itself in neon lights. It whispers through choices, glances, and patterns. Now, how should you respond? Don't dismiss her, don't act oblivious, and don't brush off her attempts to engage. If you're interested, lean into it. Reward her courage, acknowledge her point, give her opinion weight, and return the energy she's showing you. This is not about flattery, it's about recognition. A woman who seeks your validation in public is handing you trust. She is testing if you will honor it. Respond with confidence, not arrogance. Engage with her like you actually hear her. Because the truth is, in female psychology, the fastest way to make her fall in love is not through grand gestures, but through consistent moments where she feels seen and respected. But here's the twist. Don't let the group vanish into the background. Be wise. If you focus only on her and ignore everyone else, you risk creating tension. Even suspicion balance is everything. Keep the circle included, but let her feel she holds a special place in your attention. That balance creates safety. Safety breeds attraction, and attraction, when nurtured, carefully becomes the bridge to deeper connection. That is how to fall in love without forcing anything. It flows from natural respect and subtle recognition. Men often miss this sign because they're distracted by louder cues like obvious flirting, compliments, or physical touch. Don't be fooled. Attraction often hides in plain sight in these small but repeated behaviors. If she consistently values your take, if she glances at you before laughing at her own joke, if she orients herself towards you in the group, those are her signals. She is not asking for everyone's stamp of approval. She wants yours. That's no accident. That's intention. And here's the key. Don't misuse it. Don't inflate your ego because a woman seeks your validation. That is the mistake weak men make. They turn her interest into a stage for self-importance. Be the opposite. Be grounded. Be sharp. Recognize the gift and handle it with calm assurance. True confidence doesn't brag. It validates. Back when you value her input and show appreciation for her insights, you create a feedback loop of respect. Respect turns interest into connection. Connection, when handled right, can turn into love. Think of it this way. Female psychology thrives on reciprocity. She seeks your validation. You give it back with sincerity, not fake compliments, not empty nods, real attention. That's what makes her lean closer, trust deeper, and open her heart. One of the most underrated psychology tricks in love is not knowing how to impress, but knowing how to listen. Listening makes you magnetic, and when she feels you listen, she will keep returning to you over and over. So remember this: don't chase when you can attract. Don't dismiss when you can acknowledge. Be the man whose validation is rare but meaningful when she seeks it. Give it wisely. That is power. That is presence. That is how to fall in love without saying a word. 2. Seeking your help with small tasks. When a girl is truly attracted to you, she won't always announce it with grand gestures or bold declarations. Instead, she often takes the subtle route, asking for your help with small tasks that may seem insignificant. At first glance, don't dismiss these moments. That is her way of building a bridge, creating more interactions with you and allowing herself to feel closer without risking rejection. A woman who likes you will invent reasons to pull you into her world. Whether it's asking you to lift something light, fix a minor issue, or simply give your opinion on which outfit looks better. Now, don't be fooled. The task itself is rarely the point. It's not about whether she can change the light bulb, figure out her phone settings, or pick between 2 restaurants. She's perfectly capable. What matters is that she chooses you. That is her signal. Quiet but deliberate. I value your presence. I want your input. I trust your masculine energy. This is not just female psychology, it's attraction strategy. She's giving you an opening, and if you're a high V value man, you won't overlook it. Think of it as her tossing you the ball. What you do next matters. Don't act annoyed and don't make her feel silly for asking. Instead, step into the moment with calm confidence. Be helpful, but more importantly, be present. Show that you're glad to contribute, not because you're desperate to please, but because generosity is part of your strength. A man who embodies masculine energy doesn't just fix problems, he makes her feel safe in his presence. That is what attracts women more than any clever line or flashy move. Here's a metaphor to keep in mind. A king doesn't rush to prove himself with every small request, but he also doesn't ignore his queen when she seeks his help. He moves with balance, firm, capable, and gracious. The same applies here. You don't need to do everything for her or become her personal assistant. That would make you look needy, not powerful. You must keep the dynamic, healthy, and equal, where both parties contribute and respect each other. That balance is what makes you a high-value man and keeps her attraction alive. And don't forget, these small tasks are opportunities for connection while you're fixing that stubborn zipper or giving your opinion on a decision. Take the chance to learn more about her thoughts, her tastes, her values. Ask a witty question, share a light joke, keep it engaging. The more she laughs and feels understood in these little exchanges, the more her bond with you deepens. Attraction often grows in the details, not the drama. Let's be clear, you don't attract women by being a pushover. You attract women by showing them that you're strong enough to help, wise enough to guide, and confident enough not to lose yourself in the process. That is masculine energy at its finest. It's not about fixing her problems. It's about creating a dynamic where she feels drawn to you again and again because you add value to her life without sacrificing your own. So the next time she asks, "Can you help me with this?" don't just see a trivial task, see the bigger picture. She's giving you a window into her attraction, a doorway to connection. Walk through it with confidence, balance, and wit. Be the man who understands that these small requests aren't about the task, they're about her heart reaching out to yours. 3. Casually bringing up relationship topics. When a girl is attracted to you, one of the psychology tricks she often uses is casually bringing up relationship topics. And you must recognize that this isn't random. It's deliberate. It's probing. It's her way of measuring. If you're aligned with her desires, she might ask about your past relationships, your thoughts on the ideal partnership, or what you look for in a woman. Don't dismiss it as small talk. That is her strategy to gather vital information to see if your paths can converge. Marcus Aurelius, the master of old Stoic wisdom, said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And this is exactly why you must treat such conversations with clarity and intention. A high-value man with an iron mind doesn't stumble through answers. He speaks with calm strength, guided by stoicism. We're not by insecurity or bitterness. Don't complain about your past. Don't speak with resentment. And don't let old scars poison new beginnings. Be direct. Be honest. Show her that you carry lessons, not baggage. Let her see that you have mastered yourself, that your perspective is shaped by discipline, not by regret. In modern life, where dating often feels like a battlefield of ghosting, mixed signals, and endless distractions, her choice to bring up relationships is her revealing her interest. That is your moment to show her that you are not a man lost in the chaos. You are anchored, decisive, guided by old stoic wisdom that never bends to emotional storms. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." So when she probes into your thoughts, answer with mastery. Don't dodge, don't over-explain, and don't try to impress her with fantasy. Speak from reality. Show her that you know what you want, that you've thought about the kind of relationship you'll invest in, and that your iron mind is ours. Swayed by shallow trends. This is how you separate yourself from the masses of men chasing validation because you're not chasing your presence. Pause. Let's be clear. She doesn't want you to agree with everything she says. She wants to feel your authenticity, a stoicism. Win is not in pleasing, but in standing firm when you engage in these conversations. Listen to her with respect, but don't collapse into people-pleasing. That is weakness. Women test men through words to see if their values hold under subtle pressure. Pass the test by being calm, sharp, and unshaken. Don't be afraid of silence. Don't be afraid to pause. Don't be afraid to say, "This is what I believe." That is strength. That is power. That is how to fall in love with integrity intact. And here's the victory. Once she senses your groundedness, once she feels your old stoic wisdom woven into every word, she sees a man who cannot be broken. She sees an iron mind in a world of fragile hearts. She sees a man who chooses his path, not one dragged by emotions. And that is attractive beyond measure. Remember what Seneca said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." When a girl opens the door by bringing up relationships, don't stumble, be prepared, be intentional, be the man who knows himself in that moment. You don't just answer her questions, you establish yourself as a man of vision, discipline, and authority. That is the victory, that is the path of stoicism, win, and that is how you imprint yourself in her heart forever. 4. Offering to share food or drinks. Picture this. You're at a cafe. She slides her plate a little closer, tilts the fork your way, and says, "Want a bite?" Don't treat that like a throwaway courtesy. Treat it like a quiet door. Opening in female psychology, offering food or a sip of her drink is rarely just about calories. It's about comfort, trust, and a micro test of closeness. A gentle check to see if you can share space without awkwardness. Be the man who reads between the lines. That is her, inviting you into a small, safe ritual. Low stakes, high signal. You must respond with warmth and presence. Accept graciously. Smile. Make eye contact. Offer something of yours in return. Not because you owe her, but because reciprocity turns a moment into a memory. In the world of psychology tricks, this is a classic sharing triggers familiarity. Familiarity nurtures connection, and connection opens the door to deeper conversation. Don't over-complicate it. Don't turn it into a debate about macros, germs, or why you never share fries. Be easy, be kind, be playful. A simple, "This is great. What made you pick?" It keeps her talking and keeps the attention on her taste, her story, her world. That is what you want. If you're serious about how to fall in, love like a grown man, by listening, by noticing, by making her feel seen. If she hands you her cup for a sip, hold it carefully, take a modest taste and hand it back with a light compliment. That's surprisingly good. You have a talent for ordering the right thing in female psychology. These small exchanges read as safety cues. You're considerate, attuned, and not trying to take more than you're given. You must reciprocate with something thoughtful. Offer her the best bite of your dish, not the leftovers. Or suggest next time, let's split one and try 2 new flavors. That is momentum in psychology. Tricks. Momentum matters. It moves the interaction from casual to intentional. Don't rush the intimacy. Let it scale. If you're in the office or a more professional setting, keep it respectful. I've got an extra snack. Want half neutral, generous, no pressure. If you're at dinner, suggest a shared dessert and ask for 2 spoons. It's old school for a reason. It works. If she declines, accept it with grace and an easy smile. You must protect comfort. First, boundaries are attractive. Allergies, dietary choices, or sobriety concerns are real. Respect them without making a scene that is how to fall in love the right way, by proving you can lead with sensitivity. Watch the signals inside the moment. Does she lean in when you lean in? Does she keep conversation flowing? Does her voice soften or her eyes linger? In female psychology, those are green lights. Match her energy. Don't outpace it. Keep your body language open, elbows off the battlefield, shoulders relaxed. Make it clean and effortless. No. Reaching across her plate without permission. No. Last second. Head. First dive for the fork. You must be deliberate. You must be smooth. You must keep the vibe light. Add a spark of humor. If you hate it, I'll pretend I loved it so we can be even. And let the shared moment do its work in terms of psychology tricks. Hook the senses. Comment on the texture, the aroma, the unexpected spice. Then bridge to a story. This reminds me of a place I tried on a work trip. You'd love it. That is how you plant the seed for the next outing without sounding needy. Don't interrogate her like a menu critic. This isn't a food review. Keep it simple, confident, short, and warm. If the bite lands, escalate slightly. We make a good team next time. Let's order 2 and go halves. If the bite misses, shrug and pivot. Okay, noted. You're the flavor scout. I'll follow your lead. Next time, you must make her feel safe to share again. You must make it fun to try again. You must make it easy to say yes again in modern dating where everyone's guarding their time and energy. The man who handles small intimacy well gets invited into bigger ones. That is the quiet path of how to fall in love, not by grand speeches, but by stacking respectful, positive moments that say, with me, you're comfortable. Use female psychology to guide your choices without playing games. When she offers, she's testing your generosity and your pace. Meet her with generosity and measured pace. Use psychology tricks to plan your follow-up. A short voice note after the date. That dessert was a win. You're officially my co-pilot for the next mission. Keeps the thread alive. Don't force it. Don't brag. Don't overstay. Be the calm center. Be the man with manners. Be the man who knows A, small. Yes can turn into a bigger yes. That is the blueprint. And if you still wonder how to fall in love in a world of swipes and noise, start with this. Accept the bite offer. 1 back. Keep the conversation warm. And let the shared taste be the bridge. Because in female psychology, the smallest shared ritual can be the start of something that tastes like home. If you found this insight valuable, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more psychology tricks, and share it with someone who would benefit to keep this lesson alive. Drop a comment below with today's affirmation. I attract connection and enjoy meaningful bonds. 5. Leaving belongings behind. An accessory, a book, a scarf, or even something as small as a hair tie. At first glance, you might think this is an innocent mistake, but make no mistake. Sometimes this act is deliberate, a subtle play from the world of female psychology. It's not just about forgetting, it's about creating a reason to see you again, to reopen the door without looking too obvious to extend the story, without forcing a new chapter. Women know the power of small gestures. This is not clumsiness, it's strategy wrapped in charm. And if you are paying attention, you'll see how it ties directly into attraction and connection. Don't underestimate this move. Be smart enough to see the intent behind it. If she left a book, she's saying, I want you to think of me when you look at it. If she left a scarf, she's leaving behind her scent, her warmth, her presence, almost like a mark in your space. That is her way of telling you, I want to return. I want you to invite me back in as a high-value man. You must recognize this signal for what it is, a non-confrontational, clever method to create continuity. And continuity is the soil where attraction grows. Think about it. This tactic saves her pride. She doesn't need to text you outright, begging for another meetup. Instead, she gives both of you a socially acceptable excuse. the return of her belonging. This is how women who want to attract men often operate: indirect, subtle, but effective. And this is where your masculine energy must rise to meet the moment. Don't be passive. Don't let the opportunity slip away. Be decisive. That is what separates a man who drifts through encounters from a man who takes charge of his life and his relationships. So, what should you do if you're interested in her? You must use this moment as leverage. Suggest a specific time and place to return the item. Don't just say, "I'll give it back sometime." No, lock it in. "Hey, why don't I bring you your scarf?" "Friday evening, there's a coffee shop I've been meaning to try." Be playful, be light-hearted, but be intentional. That is how a man of value behaves: calm, clear, and in control. Women respect a man who doesn't hesitate, because hesitation kills attraction. And remember, this is not about the object she loves. EFT, it's about the bridge she built between you and her. A high-value man knows how to walk across that bridge with confidence, use humor, use charm, but most importantly, use clarity. Masculine energy thrives on direction. If you hesitate, if you act unsure, you send the wrong message that you are not the man she imagined you to be. Don't fall into that trap. Be bold enough to lead. Now, let's be honest, not every item left behind is a secret code. Sometimes it really is just forgetfulness. But here's the twist. Even accidental forgetfulness can turn into an opportunity if you handle it right. If you're not interested, return the item politely, promptly, without fuss. That is respect, and respect is a mark of a strong man. But if you are interested, don't just hand it back. Create an experience around it. That scarf, that book, that forgotten bracelet, it can become the doorway to deeper connection if you frame it correctly. Think of it like this. Life often gives you subtle openings, small cracks in the wall, little chances to step in. Women will not always spell it out. They test, they hint, they create moments where you must prove your awareness. If you miss these moments, you miss her heart. And here's the truth. Women are drawn to men who see beyond the surface. That's how you attract women, not by flashy gestures, but by understanding the signals they send. In the end, leaving something behind is never about the object, it's about the intent. The scarf is just cloth, the book is just paper. What matters is the hidden message: I want to come back. A high-value man understands this language. He doesn't ignore it, he doesn't overthink it. He acts with charm, with confidence, with masculine energy that says, "I see you and I choose to engage." That is how you turn a forgotten item into a remembered moment and a small detail into a lasting bond. 6. Finding excuses to contact you. When a girl is attracted to you, she will always find ways to reach out, even if those reasons seem small or random, and this is not an accident. It is strategy. She may send you a meme, ask a question she could easily Google, or circle back to a conversation you had days ago because her goal is to stay on your radar, to make sure you keep her in mind. That is her way of showing interest without saying it outright, and you must recognize it for what it is. Effort. Old Stoic wisdom reminds us we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca. And here the reality is simple. If she's contacting you often, she is signaling attraction. Don't dismiss it. Don't overlook it. Be sharp. In the modern world of constant notifications, it's easy to ignore or delay. But if you are interested, you must respond with the same energy. Because a bond is built not in silence, but in consistent exchange. This is where Stoicism, comes in. Not overreacting, not becoming desperate, but responding with calm strength, with an iron mind that keeps you steady and masculine. That balance between acknowledging her effort and not chasing too hard is what separates a man who knows his worth from a man who fumbles it away. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, and if your thoughts are grounded, your actions will follow with clarity." A high-value man does not play games. He respects her efforts, reciprocates with equal energy, and sets clear boundaries. If his interest is not mutual in modern life, where social media makes communication effortless, it is not about the number of messages, but the intention behind them. Does she want to connect with you specifically? If the answer is yes, then you must see it as an open door. Don't leave her waiting too long. Don't make excuses. Don't let opportunities slip, because hesitation kills more relationships than rejection ever will. Let's be direct if you want her. Engage her if you don't set boundaries. That is discipline. Hat is respect. That is what a man with iron mind does. He chooses clarity over confusion. And remember the back. And fourth, the playful banter, the small excuses she makes to keep you close. Those are the building blocks of intimacy with patience, steadiness, and masculine energy. You turn those moments into connection, and connection into trust. A girl reaching out is not noise. It is signal. Don't miss it. Don't misread it. Recognize it for the gift. It is because in the game of attraction, small excuses are her way of saying, I want more of your presence in my life. So be decisive. Be present. Let your actions show that you are a man of depth, guided by old Stoic wisdom, who wins with discipline, who carries an iron mind, and who understands that love is not about chasing endlessly, but about building a bond that grows stronger with every exchange. 7. Light touches or finding reasons to be physically close. When a girl is attracted to you, she will often find excuses to create light touches or stay physically close. And this is not random, it's one of the most reliable psychology tricks hidden in plain sight. Think about it. You're sharing a laugh and suddenly her hand brushes your shoulder for just a moment. It seems casual, but in female psychology, that fleeting contact carries meaning in a group setting. While others might scatter across the room, she chooses the seat right next to you, or even slides her chair a little closer, as if the space between you is something she wants to erase. These gestures, passing you something, and letting her fingers graze your hand, gently bumping your shoulder as she walks past, or simply standing a bit closer than most people would, are subtle signals that she is letting you into her private circle. That is the unspoken language of attraction. She feels safe in your presence and wants to create intimacy without spelling it out. Psychologists call this proxemics, the study of personal space, and it tells you everything you need to know. And a woman actively closes the distance. She is quietly revealing her interest. And if you know how to fall in, love wisely, you will recognize that she is lowering her guard to invite connection. Don't ruin it by calling it out or making it awkward. Be the man who knows when to smile warmly, maintain steady eye contact, or toss a playful comment that keeps the moment light yet powerful. That is how you attract women without trying too hard, through your calm, controlled presence. Real masculine strength is not about grabbing what you want. It's about knowing how to wait, how to respect boundaries, how to lead with patience and subtlety. A high-value man doesn't rush, doesn't force, doesn't need validation. He simply notices the signs, acknowledges them with confidence, and allows the attraction to grow naturally. The beauty of female psychology is that it thrives in mystery and gradual connection. If she wants to be near you, let her, but let her set the pace. That is how you build trust and deepen attraction. Many men miss this because they expect grand gestures or obvious confessions. But in reality, the real psychology tricks of attraction are written in inches and seconds in the tiny way she tries to bridge the gap. If you're wise, you'll read those signs. Respond with masculine energy and never overstep. Attraction is not about rushing toward the finish line. It's about moving with awareness, understanding the rhythm, and making her feel that with you she is safe, seen, and desired. So the next time she finds a reason to lean closer to touch your arm or to stay within your orbit, recognize it for what it is, a quiet invitation to connection, a signal that she is letting you in. Don't ignore it. Don't smother it. Be the high-value man who knows how to turn small sparks into lasting fire. That is the secret of how to fall in love with wisdom, respect, and strength. If you noticed how she closes the distance, remember, true strength is patience and presence. Comment below to lock this truth in. I master attraction through patience and respect. 8. Mirroring your behavior and gestures. One of the clearest psychology tricks you'll ever notice is mirroring her subconscious reflection of your behavior, gestures, or even your words. And this is not random. It's a window into female psychology that reveals her desire to connect and sync with your masculine energy picture. This you cross your arms, and minutes later, she does the same. You take a sip of water and she instinctively follows you. Use a particular phrase in passing and days later you hear it on her lips. It's her way of aligning herself with you. A silent declaration of "I feel your presence and I want to be in tune with it." Don't underestimate this, because a high-value man must know that such imitation is not flattery by accident. It's attraction in action. That is why you must remain calm, steady, and composed, because your energy dictates the rhythm. Your masculine energy sets the tone and she follows it. Don't break the flow by over-analyzing or teasing her about it. Instead, be aware, be observant, and let it affirm your influence. A high-value man doesn't chase validation. He recognizes the signs that women naturally give when they are drawn toward him, and mirroring is one of the strongest. Think of it like a dance where you lead with confidence, and she instinctively mirrors your moves, not because she's forced, but because she wants to stay and step with you. You must remember what Marcus Aurelius once said: the soul becomes dyed with the colour of its thoughts. In the same way, her behaviour becomes coloured by your presence when you attract women with grounded, authentic power. That is your edge. Don't doubt it. Be firm, be centered, and understand that your steady composure only deepens her pull toward you. This psychology trick works silently, invisibly, yet powerfully. And if you ignore it, you miss a golden opportunity to see just how much influence your masculine energy carries. When you observe her reflecting, you recognize it as proof that you are leaving an imprint on her subconscious. And that is the mark of a man who knows how to attract women without words, without force, simply by being a high-value man who commands the room through presence. So don't dismiss these small gestures. They are not small at all. They are signals. They are signs. They are proof that your presence is magnetic. And the more authentic you remain, the more she will mirror you. Be the man who understands the subtle but profound truth. Attraction is often unspoken, and the mirror she holds up to you is not just about posture or words. It is her heart trying to align with yours. That is your power. That is your advantage. And that is why a man who recognizes these signs masters not just his relationships, but himself. 9. Paying attention to the small details about you. When a woman is genuinely attracted to you, she doesn't just hear your words. She remembers them, treasures them, and repeats them back in subtle ways that reveal her interest. This is no accident. It's a sign rooted in female psychology, a demonstration that you matter to her on a deeper level. Think about it. You once casually mentioned you drink your coffee black, and suddenly she asks you the next morning, "Did you have your coffee yet?" Or you told her about your early runs, and later she brings it up with a smile as if she's been following your rhythm. These little moments are not small, they're monumental. They're her way of saying, "You're important. I notice you. I value what you say." And here's the truth. When she remembers these details, she's opening a door. She's building intimacy, inviting you into a shared space where your lives begin to align. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Apply this old Stoic wisdom. Recognize her attention as respect, not just affection. Don't dismiss these signals. A high-value man doesn't overlook what others miss. He has an iron mind, steady, discerning, and aware of the hidden language of attraction. Now let's be clear. Women use details to connect emotionally. They don't just recall facts. They recall how those facts made them feel when she holds on to what you said. It's her strategy to deepen connection, to make you feel seen, to draw you closer. This is psychology at work. Don't take it lightly in modern life where everyone is distracted by endless notifications. A woman who pays attention to you above the noise is declaring your importance without needing grand gestures. That is rare, that is powerful, and that is a test of whether you notice her in return. Because reciprocity is the foundation of genuine bonds. You must pay attention to the little things she shares too, her favourite song, her dreams, her fears. A stoicism win is not about cold indifference. It's about strength with awareness, silence with depth, iron mind with compassion. Don't be careless. Don't be the man who only talks but never remembers. Be the man who notices, who returns the same energy, who builds trust detail by detail. Remember, the strongest men are not those who speak the loudest, but those who observe, who notice, who remember. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Don't imagine you need grand displays to attract women. The reality is simpler. Pay attention. She's already giving you the blueprint. She's showing you the path that is old. Stoic wisdom applied to love. Discipline of attention, mastery of memory, power of presence. This is how you win, not just her attraction, but her respect, her loyalty, and her trust. Bonus tip. Emotional intelligence. Don't wait for tomorrow. Start today. Notice her words. Notice her world. Notice her heart. That is how you turn attraction into something lasting. That is how you live like a man with an iron mind, steady in presence, and victorious in love. Bonus tip: emotional intelligence. Female psychology is not just about what she says, but about how she feels and how you respond. And if you want to know how to fall in love and build something real, you must master this skill. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize emotions in yourself and in others. 2. Pause, process, and then respond with clarity and strength instead of reacting impulsively. And that is exactly what separates a man who struggles from a man who attracts women. Naturally, don't dismiss it as some vague idea. Be sharp, be aware, be present, because a woman pays close attention not only to your words, but to how you make her feel. And your ability to manage emotions is what allows her to feel safe, understood, and valued. For example, if she is subtly seeking validation by telling you a story or sharing her feelings, a man without emotional intelligence might overreact, ignore her need, or give false promises that lead nowhere. But a man who understands psychology tricks will acknowledge her words with honesty, respect her emotions, and at the same time maintain his boundaries, which shows both strength and sensitivity. That is how you attract women on a deeper level, not by showing off or trying too hard, but by demonstrating masculine energy that is calm, grounded, and responsive rather than reactive. If you are interested in her, your emotional intelligence allows you to use female psychology in a positive way, responding with thoughtfulness, listening with intention, and deepening the bond through meaningful communication and action. If you are not interested, the same skill gives you the power to decline with dignity, sparing her unnecessary confusion while still showing respect. This balance is rare, and rarity is magnetic. You must understand that emotional intelligence is not weakness, it is strength under control. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength and an attraction." This translates to mastering yourself before trying to master any situation with her. The modern world is filled with men who chase, overreact, or get lost in confusion because they never learned how to harness their emotions. But the high-value man separates himself by staying composed and decisive while others crumble. Don't be cold and detached, but also don't be overly emotional or needy. That is the fine line emotional intelligence teaches you to walk, and it is the very path to learning how to fall in love with clarity and control. Imagine this: she tests you with a subtle challenge, maybe a teasing remark or a sudden silence. And instead of panicking, you smile, you stay calm, you answer with wit or quiet confidence, and suddenly she feels drawn to your stability. Because stability is irresistible to a woman who seeks security. That is the hidden beauty of these psychology tricks. You are not manipulating her, you are mastering yourself so that her attraction has space to grow. Naturally, relationships are not built on grand gestures, but on thousands of small moments where emotional intelligence decides whether the connection deepens or breaks. Be the man who listens without losing himself, who empathizes without becoming weak, who validates without chasing. That is the masculine energy that commands respect and attention. Practicing emotional intelligence will transform not only your interactions with women, but also your career, your friendships, and your entire life. Because the ability to stay balanced under pressure is the true mark of leadership. Remember, women fall in love not only with your looks or your words, but with the way you handle their hearts. And a man who combines strength with understanding is the man who wins both admiration and affection. Don't just hear this, live it, because once you cultivate this power, you stop chasing and start attracting. And when you attract from a place of mastery, everything changes. So ask yourself, will you keep reacting like every other man, or will you rise above and use emotional intelligence as your weapon? That is the difference between struggling in confusion and becoming the man who women cannot ignore. The man who knows psychology, tricks, who understands female psychology, and who finally knows how to fall in love with wisdom, strength, and dignity. And that's it, my friends. Those little signs reveal a lot more than words ever could. Conclusion: when a girl is attracted to you, she will always try to. The Stoic Hub. The truth is, female psychology is often subtle, but if you pay attention, you'll notice the psychology tricks she uses when she's trying to show interest. My advice to you is simple. Don't overthink, don't chase, but be aware and respond with calm confidence. That is how you build attraction. That is how to fall in love the right way, not by forcing it, but by recognizing the signals and meeting them with strength. Having uncovered how girls show attraction, are you ready for more relationship insights? Consider the things that a girl asks when hitting on you, or explore how to sexually attract someone you've just met. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Don't forget to like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more. Stay sharp, stay confident, and I'll see you in the next